You guessed it, it's all falling apart. And you know, when you think about it, maybe that's just the iron inside of it, breathing to kill you. And when it does, the notion that there are worlds between other places, other stars, other planets, you might imagine for a while what connects it all when it's not known who is the animal and who is the human. Consider this for a moment an abject isolation, a case subject closed in itself, made only to feel space, wonder about the fact that nature breeds deniability. And when it hits you, when you think, when you have surmounted your knowledge, a simple twist of a photon shows you in your final moments that what you tried to do was to define the sound that was denied. When you think about what you have done and where you're coming from, in reason to try to isolate a point of view for yourself, and why some things appear to be as though they were made to be positioned just that way, you imagine that when all that flows has intervals between things and objects, peoples, humans who want to be part of such worlds, then in time questions will arise as to a simple fact of life. When the notion is thought, it must have traveled some distance. You wonder wherefore such a place exists, where there are holes in the surface of things. And I just told you, don't ever worry about where you're going to. When you have spoken all that is and possibly can be and is not, and repeats doing so, imagine for a while that everything is on a turnabout, that what you want and what you are and is and so forth is to hold it in your hand, to be able to be capable to know how to relate to nature, to plants, animals. Even as such, do not objectively think it possible, but I must remain as such, as a skeptic, to the reasons why everything thus said seems to have climbed its own geometry, seems to have taken its way outwards from the point start, has become something by which something cleaner exists, something from which things no longer float from high to low, but become not as such more than the only and perhaps the best reason to not always give up, and sometimes not to use such words, such language. For in truth, in total, I think it is as though we were safe in our own capacity, being surrounded by safety. you wander out to look for it, when you do so find things in your way, well, it's because you're human. You have the ability to avoid them. And somewhere along the line, someone will teach you a lesson and tell you, well, it's because nature just sometimes, isn't referenced that way. So you want to save a part of yourself. And that's where it is sometimes not advisable to dwell or wonder in the past and the aspects of everything natural, because for some reason there is something going on in ancient languages that tells of, when the sun is where it is and you will know where you are, there are other things, other collective services. There are places that surmount and collect things. And moving between them, you might wonder about the other side of things. But not yet, for you have seen a part of me. So you know how to do this. Well, let me in on a little secret of why things are usually beyond the grasp of normal people. For it was foretold long ago that forwards to see thus in the mistakes the people like to bury themselves into the burrows of other people's minds would appear, so the lineage of many has in its ability to obey the sounds of people who give away their efforts to enter into the forest and to scream therein, shout, scream, frightening the owls and the small animals that live there. If it was not for this, then perhaps, how would you put a reference thus as a result in front of someone to use a portal of the mind, a way through into another reality? You might wonder, did I see it, or perhaps did you? Well, I know you did feel that somehow, in reference to being as such ignorant of the now. Then thus it became as such. Things in the air, they usually fall. Somewhere suspended in the middle of it all, something told of a change in movements. Another wave was getting closer, closer until, for some reason, its choice it became, as man is, smart. And unto that, well, when it became as such that there are problems between things, there had to be some way to define what they were. Was it not so set of what humans can become? When thus posing the reason this question answered or unanswered for the following 3,000 exoplanetary systems, of which human civilization has taken over, the question will still remain, and as such it will always keep its encompassment, a gap in the mind for those who are told not to think about it. For as such a measly amount of space within a human being, so much insurmountability results upon the acquiring of how it sounds to interact with nature. Because it is so, and as such, human beings have a flaw, and as such, they must deny it all. When it comes down to what time it is, which planet, and where, and what, and how, and why, and where, ponder this. That too much of it will kill you if you don't know how to use it. And that's why there are ways to surmount, ways to store up your energy inside your body, grow strong. And doing that, turning on yourself.